So the best way to come up with ideas is literally getting a paper out, like literally piece of paper and pen out. You can even do it on your computer if you don't like paper, or if you don't like writing. You could use like an app called Notion, or even just Google Docs. Sorry about the background. I think people are doing landscaping right now. But yeah, something like that. Just sitting down 10, 15, 20 minutes a day and just coming up with ideas. Because doing that every single day, you will be accountable for your thoughts. Because in our mind, we come up with thousands of thoughts a day. Like you can literally look it up. We think of 10,000 thoughts a day. I think a little bit less than that. But my idea is like, if you're constantly thinking of ideas, how are you ever gonna remember that? You're not. So the best way to really kind of remember the importance of that moment, of that time, is writing it down for 10, 15, 20 minutes a day. And that's something that I do in my daily routine, is sit down, come up with ideas, whether it's good or bad ideas. And trust me, there's no such thing as bad idea. Don't try to like stress too much on thinking, is this really a good idea? Write it down and go to the next. Because then the next day, you look back at those ideas and you'll be like, oh, okay, maybe that was a pretty bad idea. And I will say 80%, maybe 90%, the ideas will be awful. But the point is just remembering that you should write down your thoughts and coming back to it. Because all you need is one or two thoughts to really hit off, and then who knows, maybe it'll be a big success. Like literally I have pages of thoughts constantly writing down. I like to write my ideas mostly on paper and pen, but just because like I like writing. Sometime when I'm on the go, like if I'm at the library or I'm on the bus or just commuting somewhere, I'll just go on my phone and just writing down on either my app or like Google Docs or Notion, one of those, whatever, I can just get my ideas down. But if I'm home, if I'm got a piece of paper in front of me, I'll write down all my thoughts. Whatever you prefer. Something that I recommend also when coming up with ideas is getting out of your comfort zone. So the best way to really come out of your comfort zone is going somewhere, you know, like whether that's going to the public library, whether it's going to the coffee shop, whether that's going wherever you can think of, like going to the beach, going on for a long walk, you know. And doing this is actually maybe a little bit better. And I say this because you're getting out of your comfort zone. You're not going to be laying in bed. You're not going to be just sitting down anywhere getting distracted, you know. Going somewhere will actually keep you less distracted, because if you're at the library, you're not going to be on your phone scrolling when you see everyone else around you studying or writing or typing something up, right? When you're at the cafe, you're not going to be scrolling on your phone. You'll feel like a loser, right? So instead, if you're outside in public with everyone around you working or doing something else, you're going to do the same thing. It's just like psychology, you know? And I love going to the library. I go to the public library at least like once a week, mostly because of that reason, because I know I would be the most productive than just sitting in my home, like coming up with ideas. Another idea is something that I don't recommend, and it sounds maybe a lot cooler in my head now thinking about it, but something that I recommend is, in the back of my house, it's like really hot because it's like kind of an old house. There's no AC, all windows around, like you can see a big ass window right there. And pretty much it's June, so I got a bunch of heat wave this week, next week, and it's really hot in the back room. But something I like to do is sit in the back room and come up with ideas. Why? Because I'm not comfortable. I'm constantly sweating. I'm really hot. And honestly, when you're not comfortable, you come up with the best ideas. I don't know. Again, this sounds a lot cooler in my head. I definitely would recommend experimenting it. Everyone is different, but from my experience coming up with ideas, this is like the best way. If I don't do this, I'll probably just go out to the library or get some coffee and come up with some ideas. Now, when we think of ideas, you might be thinking, okay, so what ideas do I think of? Well, that's the beauty of it. The ideas could be anything, right? That could be whether a business idea, a content idea, whether it's something you're trying to solve in life, something that you're going through life. Like for example, for me, I'm trying to move out, right? Because I can't stay here forever. So that's the problem right now. But one of the issues I'm having is either getting a job or trying to make this content creation, freelancing stuff work full time. And yes, it has their pros and cons toward either side, but a couple of ideas of, okay, how can I make this work? How can I move with an income, whether that's doing freelancing or a job? Of course, you can apply for a job. Of course, you can go on Upwork or Fiverr and try to make it work out. But the point is coming up with ideas, being creative of how to make money. Because I think for me, from my experience, is that life is too simple, and coming up with ideas of how to make money is actually really cool, because right now at this very moment I have like 3 sources of income, and they're all like creative ideas. They're all like things that I would never thought of like a year ago if I didn't write it down today. Again, this could be anything, right? This could be even relationships, right? If you're like a guy, if you're like a boy, right? And you're trying to figure out, okay, how can I make them, like, I guess like them, but like you could think of like, okay, I could read books about like seduction, or I could read about ideas of something else, or I get advice from friends, or I can do this idea, or I can go on a date with them, or I can do this and that. You know, these are ideas that I'm talking about. It could be anything that you can think of in your mind, no matter what the problem is, no matter what the niche is, or niche, I don't know what you call it, but you get the point. And that's really how it comes down to coming up with any ideas.